Winning a championship is the ultimate goal for any NBA player, and is also the piece of hardware that separates good players from the great ones. Thus, no matter how talented they are or how good their team performs during the regular season, if they can't win it all, that's what the people will remember. Names like Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Paul George come to mind when thinking about elite players that have failed to live up to expectations over and over again. And until a season ago, Anthony Davis was also part of that group. However, after many months of speculation, things changed for him when a trade that sent him to the Los Angeles Lakers was completed. And while there were still many questions regarding whether he'd finally live up to the expectations or not, the big man has shown he belongs to the biggest stage on the league. Welcome to Courtside. Today, we'll talk about how incredible Davis has been in the playoffs and what this means for his future. Playing as a guard before going through a sudden growth spurt, AD had a versatile game for his position on both ends of the court from an early age, and this helped him gain recognition as one of the most special talents in the United States from early on. The big man played his lone college season under coach John Calipari in Kentucky, and from the moment he stepped on the court, he was regarded as one of the best players in his class. And as the season progressed, he solidified this position by leading his team to the NCAA title. His outstanding play helped him become the first overall pick in the 2012 draft, being selected by the then New Orleans Hornets and going on to have a great rookie season. Davis started adding weight after his first season, which helped him improve his game on both ends of the court and become an all-star in just his second season. He quickly became the face of the renamed Pelicans, and there was hope he would be able to help the team become more successful than it had ever been. But as the years went by, management failed to surround Davis with a supporting cast that would help them become regular playoff contenders. Still, the Brow kept getting better, receiving multiple All-NBA First Team and All-Defensive Team selections during his first 6 years in the league, while also guiding the team to 2 playoff appearances. The Pelicans had their best year in 2018 when they reached the second round of the playoffs before being eliminated by the Golden State Warriors. However, they couldn't keep the momentum going on the following season, which caused frustration in Davis and led him to ask for a trade shortly before 2019's trade deadline. By the time he made the request, there had already been much speculation given that he had hired Rich Paul, the same person that represents LeBron James, to become his agent, and many thought it was only a matter of time before he joined the Purple and Gold. And while the situation was mishandled by almost all who were involved in it, by the end of the season, Davis had his wish granted and was sent to the Lakers to join James and form one of the most formidable duos in the league. Both stars developed a close friendship from the moment the move was completed, and by the time the season started, they were already playing with great chemistry on the court. As the games went by, things only got better for the Lakers as they earned the best record in the Western Conference and second best record overall, and this was in large part because of the Brow. James kept doing what he does best, attack the rim, create plays for his teammates, and control the game. But Davis made it possible for the team to improve on both ends of the court by becoming their main option on offense as well as their defensive anchor. His leadership, along with Frank Vogel's schemes, helped the team become one of the best when it came to playing defense, and even LeBron, who had been criticized in the last few years for not playing hard on that end of the court, was committed to playing great defense. By the end of the regular season and the seeding games, Davis's play was rewarded with another selection on both the All-NBA First Team and All-Defensive First Team, while also finishing in the top 10 and voting for the MVP, and is the runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year award. However, the Lakers weren't playing their best as they headed into the playoffs, and questions regarding the big man's health, focus, and his ability to raise his game when the stakes were at the highest started to take place. Most of the doubts were based on the fact that he had never had a deep playoff run before, nor had he been expected to win a championship, and critics were questioning if his team would be able to even make it out of the first round following a Game 1 loss against the Portland Trail Blazers. But from that point forward, things have been much better for the team, and Davis has had much to do about it. The star forward averaged 30.2 points per game over the following 4 games of the series, including a 43-point performance in Game 5 to put the Blazers away for good. The next series represented a whole different challenge for LA, given that the Rockets had adopted a super small approach to their game, which ultimately forced them into making a few adjustments to the starting lineup and the rotation. Again, AD was at the center of it all as he had to be switched to the center position to adapt to Houston's size and versatility. And the change worked to perfection for the Lakers as they also closed the Rockets out in 5 games, including a blowout in the last game of the series. Then came the series against a team with the center almost as talented as he is in Nikola Jokic. As the Joker was the driving force for the Nuggets, the Lakers understood that by limiting his impact on the game, they would have a better chance to win the series. Thus, they went big again, and Davis, along with Dwight Howard, were focused on bothering Jokic on defense and also on wearing him out on offense. The strategy resulted in the Lakers winning their 3rd straight series in 5 games, and Davis averaging 31.2 points per game over the conference finals. In short, the big man has been dominating opposing teams throughout the playoffs on a daily basis, and this has made the world finally put its attention on how good he is and how much of an impact he can have on a team built to compete for a championship. His points average through the first 3 rounds has been 28.8, and his impact as a defensive anchor and versatility on both ends of the court have helped the Lakers keep on winning without too many troubles. And seemingly his on-court leadership has taken a step forward too. During the regular season, it was common for the team to be outscored whenever LeBron went to the bench and Davis remained on the court, but things have changed in the postseason. LA is now outscoring opponents when AD is on the floor without James. Likewise, the Lakers used to outscore opponents by a large margin when James was on the floor without the brow, but that number has gone down from 9.8 points per 100 possessions during the regular season to just 3.4 in the playoffs. He's been able to make the team better in every single way, and he's been doing it at a historical pace as his averages of at least 28 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists per game on 50% shooting have only been matched by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaquille O'Neal, Wilt Chamberlain, and Bill Russell. All of them some of the best big men to have ever played the game. And he continued that historic trend during Game 1 of the Finals against the Heat by scoring 34 points, the third largest amount of points by a Lakers player in a Finals debut, only behind Shaq, Abdul-Jabbar, and George Mikan. The way he's been playing has shown the world what he's capable of, and some even have started talking about whether he's the best player on his team or whether he should eventually be the one to receive the Finals MVP award if the Lakers win. And while it must feel good for him to receive so much praise from everyone, the truth is that he doesn't care about what people think when it comes to such debates. Along with his immense talent, there's also the just as immense talent of LeBron, and perhaps even more important is the chemistry that has existed between the two of them since the first game of the season. Talent-wise, the Lakers have the best duo in the NBA, and that's enough to make them contenders. But what makes them one of the most dangerous teams in the league is the way that both stars complement each other's game and can make their teammates better. That makes it possible for both not to have to make all the heavy lifting themselves, as they know they can have an off night, and their team will still have a great chance to win games because the other can make up for it on any given night. And when both get going offensively, the Lakers are almost impossible to stop. James remains a dominant force that can physically abuse opponents and create space for his teammates. On the other hand, Davis is arguably the most versatile offensive big man ever, being able to dominate opponents on the post and shoot over them from three-point range. In short, the Lakers have two of the most unstoppable players on their team. And the best part about it, as they just said, is that they're not jealous of each other and instead want to do whatever it takes to help the other get better. For AD, this means he'll get the most out of LeBron's last years of dominance and will have the chance to take over as the main face of the team whenever James starts to decline. So it's safe to say that, barring catastrophe, things should only get better for who's already the best big man of his generation, especially considering LeBron will continue to help him become even better than he already is. Altogether, before starting his professional career, Davis was already considered by some as the kind of player that could define a generation, and as the years went by, his growth showed he was capable of living up to those expectations. He never got a chance to prove it with the Pelicans in a deep playoff run. The Lakers have provided the big man with the perfect situation for him to shine on the biggest stage the league can offer. Now he has a chance to become a champion, and if he does, that should only mean problems for the rest of the league in the coming years. But now, has AD's playoff dominance taken you by surprise, or were you expecting this kind of run from him? Let us know in the comments. We hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you did, remember to like it and subscribe to our channel for more NBA content. We are Courtside.